Hi guys, it's Bella's Farm Life, and today we're going with a video that doesn't involve the animals, but it just really involves me talking. So if you're interested in learning a little bit more about horses and things like that, this is kind of the video for you, because it doesn't have the horses in it, but it's a lot of talking and information. So I think this will be kind of fun for people that love horses, and probably boring for people that kind of just want to see the horses and have like a very fun interactive video. So today we're going to be talking about pedigrees, and specifically my two thoroughbreds pedigrees. What's our do's and don'ts for pedigrees? What do you look for? What are good lines? What are certain lines like? All of that. So I'm kind of learning with you guys. I don't know 100% about it. I'm just starting to kind of get into the whole pedigree end of things, but I do want to share that with you guys. So I'm going to be looking on my iPad kind of at the pedigree, but I'm going to try to insert like a picture of it somewhere on the screen, so as I'm talking you guys kind of understand what I'm talking about. Or I'm just going to put one like giant picture of the pedigree up and then talk about it after. I'm going to kind of see as I edit what the best choice for that is. So let's get to it. So my guy Rock Salt, or American Rock Salt, is out of Tail of the Cat and Pliant. So those are two good, very good bloodlines. You're going to see like towards the back of his pedigree he has some Secretariat in there. That is a very popular bloodline. A lot of horses have Secretariat in them nowadays. That's going to be very, very common. You're going to see Secretariat pretty much everywhere. So that's something that's kind of cool, but it's not super, super uncommon. So my guy American Rock Salt has Stormcat in him, which I'm going to give you a little rundown. Stormcat is a very popular thoroughbred, popular in the racing industry, obviously. Super, super cool horse. If you look up Stormcat, they'll show you his like stud videos and stuff on YouTube, so you can go look that up. I might link it in the description, but he is a super, super cool stallion, and he was very athletic, very obviously good at racing. So he's bred to Stormcat, and he has Stormcat on his mother's side and his father's side. So we call the father the sire, and we call the mother the dam. So his dam would be Pliant and his sire would be father. So just kind of get familiar with those words, because I'm not going to use mother and father very much throughout this thing. I'm just using it kind of once for reference, so you can kind of get the hang of that, so when I say it you don't get confused. So like I said, his dam is Pliant, his sire is Tail of the Cat, and both of those have Stormcat in them. So Stormcat's very popular. They're pretty true to their lines, opinionated, very athletic, good in like the jumping end of things. So cross country, you'll see them in there a lot. But like I said, they're strong-minded, opinionated, but they're also sensitive. So they kind of have a way that they want to be treated, and they don't kind of higher or lower their standards for their person. They kind of just have a way they want to be, and if you don't treat them like that, there might be a bit of a problem, which obviously isn't a great thing in those lines. You don't want something too opinionated, because that doesn't get you anywhere. But sometimes having that opinion in there is a good thing, and it's workable and it's fun. But their personalities are very bold, and their personalities kind of carry throughout their breeding. So Stormcats are pretty true to their breeding. So Tail of the Cat's dam and sire are Yarn and Stormcat. So he has Stormcat as his grandfather is American Rock Salt's is Stormcat. So American Rock Salt's grandfather is Stormcat. This is a little confusing, and it gets confusing, but it's kind of just an informational video for you guys. Like I said, I'm kind of learning with you a bit, so I think this is kind of fun. So I would say the sire, or the father, is probably the most important horse in a pedigree. Like I have two horses, like I said, two thoroughbreds we'll be talking about, and later on we'll get into Crafty, and you'll see in Crafty's his mother never raced, but his father did, and just because of how great his father was, a lot of people believed in Crafty, and he did very, very well on the track. So the father is probably, I'd like to think, in my opinion, is the most important thing. The mother is, it's not like a giant part of a pedigree. Obviously you need the mother for there to be a horse, but I do think that the father is definitely something people look at more than the mother. So as you can see in his pedigree, you're going to see cat in there a lot on both sides. So we have Storm Bird, which would go with Storm Cat, and then you're going to see Forest Wild Cat, and then there's quite a few others. Then there's Storm Cat on the mother's side again, but that's his great grandfather, I believe. So Storm Cat is not only his grandfather, but Storm Cat's also his great grandfather. So we have a ton of Storm Cats in there. I believe it's in there 4 times. So we got quite a bit of Storm Cat. Now he also has a line that is Northern Dancer, Raise a Native, and Gold Digger. Those lines are known for hoof and foot problems, such as prone to navicular, prone to injuries for some reason. They all retired lame, and their offspring for a few years were coming up lame as well, in the same ways that their parents were, or their great-grandfather or even grandfather were, which was getting very concerning for people, and it was becoming less and less that people were breeding to them. But they kind of bred it out, and now all the horses are pretty good, but there are occasionally horses that are still having issues with their soundness. But typically they have the issues right from the get-go, and it would be something type of, once they started racing and a lot of pressure is put on, you'll start to see the soundness issues come up. So obviously a Storm Cat, if American Rock Salt had any type of lameness, that would have already shown up, but he does have that line in there. So that is another thing you want to kind of look for in a thoroughbred's pedigree, is that line. And if your horse is coming up lame, I would look into it and see, is that line in your thoroughbred, and is it the same lameness that the Northern Dancer, Gold Digger, and Raise a Native had. So that's something kind of, I think, it's interesting. It's not a good thing, obviously, but it's definitely interesting to me that a certain line can come up with soundness with the amount of offspring they had, and how like half of them had soundness issues. It really kind of like amazes me how things like that and traits pass down. But I heard it was a pretty dominant trait. It wasn't like a recessive trait. So we'll get into that right now. A dominant trait, you only need 1 gene for the horse to have it. So being a bay, that is a dominant trait. So if the mother has a bay gene and the father has a bay gene, and they come together, the horse is going to be bay. But if the mother has a bay gene and the father has a gray gene, and they collide together, the horse is still going to be bay because it's dominant. And a gray is recessive, which is why it's rarer to see grays or even blue eyes. That would be a recessive trait. It's something that normally doesn't show, and you need 2 recessives for it to come out and work. So the lameness issues was found to be a dominant trait, and it only was taking the sire to have the soundness issues. The mare had really no role in that, the soundness issue problem. So that's kind of how it works. And the reason I said mother and father again is it's the same thing for humans. Blue eyes again and blonde hair are recessive traits. They're less common because you need 2 of them to make that color. But brown eyes and brown hair, you only need 1 to make it. So if my father has brown eyes and my mother has brown eyes, but my mother and father have a recessive trait that's not showing on them for blue eyes, and they come together, I'll have blue eyes. But if all it takes is 1 brown eye gene or 1 dominant gene to mix with a recessive, and the dominant gene automatically overpowers that. So that's a little bit confusing. It's a little food for thought, but it's something that you'll definitely get to one day. I learned it in living environment. So that's with horses, cows, pigs, all of that, eye color, coat color, all of that. So that's just something kind of cool I learned over time. So that's how you can kind of figure out if something's dominant or recessive. If they're throwing offspring such as that, that are continually producing lame offspring, and it's all from different mares, that means it's a dominant trait. So that's something that's a little bit iffy, but since those horses are so back in Rock Salt's lines, that's not going to be a problem. And like I said, it already would have started to show. So that's just something kind of cool. Once again, food for thought, kind of think about that. So let's move on to my next horse's pedigree. All right, now we're on to Crafty Jet, which is my second off the track thoroughbred. I've had him the longest. So Crafty has a pretty good pedigree. He made quite a bit in earnings. I'm kind of looking now. Yeah, okay, so he does have some things in common with Rock Salt. So he does have the Raisinative and Gold Digger lines, but that is Crafty's great-great-great-great-grandfather. So he's way back there. So Crafty's dad, the sire for Crafty, is Unbridled Jet, and the mother or the dam is Clever and Crafty. So like I said before, Crafty's mother never raced, but his sire did, and did very, 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 very well. So that is something that, like I said before, the father, it plays a big role in the horse. So Unbridled is in Crafty. It's his grandfather. Unbridled is a very, very, very popular racehorse, typically for sprinting, things like that. He was very, very famous in the sprinting end of things, but he also did track racing. I'm sorry, I like heard my door outside close and it just freaked me out. So that's why I kind of just slowed down for a second there. I was kind of trying to listen. So Crafty has Mr. Prospector in him, which is a very, very, again, famous racehorse. A lot of people are going to know Mr. Prospector, whether you know racing or don't really know racing. He's a pretty common guy out there that people know. So he is in there. So yeah, Unbridled's in there. Crafty Prospector is also very common to see in certain thoroughbreds, but he doesn't have Secretariat in him, which I think is insane because, like I said, I've seen almost every horse have Secretariat in him. And when I first looked at his pedigree, I was kind of disappointed. I was like, wait a second, there's no Secretariat, and that's going back a while ago. And then I started realizing how common it was, and I was like, oh, so that's like, it's not like it would have been anything special, but I thought it would have been cool to have two horses with the Secretariat in there. I've always been very fascinated by Secretariat. Little blurb on him for people that don't know. Secretariat had a oddly large heart, and his blood was just able to pump through him. Oxygen was able to get there faster, and he just ran races like crazy, and he was amazing at it. I'm sorry, these lights in the back are like putting lines across the screen, but I guess it's okay. But he was racing. He used to race like crazy. He was an amazing horse. In the end, he ended up dying from foot issues, but he was so cool. I'm gonna give you guys, actually, I can tell you exactly how he passed away by looking on the thing on my iPad, because I think that giving you guys the exact information would be cool. Yeah, so he died due to laminitis. He was only 19 when he died, and he's still recognized as one of the world's greatest racehorses, just so everybody knows. So yeah, he died in 1989, which is quite a bit ago. But yeah, he had laminitis, and that is obviously not a great thing for a racehorse to have. It really saddened people because I did hear that it was very quick. It wasn't anything that people were really expecting, and it was just terrible. I remember watching the video on it, and there was a few people that talked in there, and there was one guy particularly that really like struck my mind a little bit. And he had actually seen Secretariat the day before he died, which, how cool is that? Being the last person to see Secretariat, really. So I think that's really, really, really cool. But then again, super sad because, I mean, one of the world's greatest racehorses passed. But I'm gonna define laminitis for you guys, so I'll be right back. I'm gonna just try to clean up this video a little bit, and then I'm gonna make a few more clips to add to it, and that will be the end of the video. So I'm back now and ready. So I'm going to keep adding to these pedigree videos as I start to learn more, but I'm kind of taking you guys through the process and my thought process of how it kind of works. I don't know too much about pedigrees yet, like I said, so it's a little bit of a disclaimer, but I'm trying to learn, and I figured if I took you guys along with the process of me learning, that's very helpful for you guys because you're kind of going through it with me. So we're all kind of in the same boat here if you don't know anything about pedigrees. But if you do, feel free to tell me. I'm not the type of person that doesn't like to hear what you guys have to say. So please let me know, because I honestly think it'd be something I could learn and something you guys could learn. But like I said, let me know if you have anything. Thank you for watching this video. I hope you learned a little bit of something and you learned a little bit on my horses. If you have any horses that you'd like me to look at pedigrees with in my next video, comment them down below and I'll look into their pedigrees and hopefully share them in my next video of trying to figure out how pedigrees work and how to know what is a good pedigree versus what's not, traits and all of that. So without further ado, the video is done. Go check out some of my other videos. I posted a ton today. I'm trying to keep up. I'll show you guys like a little blurb of how many videos I have coming up. I'm trying to show you guys. Yeah, these are all the videos I have coming up. So we have quite a few. The ones that are checked off are the ones that I've done. So we got quite a few videos we still have to go through. So thank you for watching once again, and comment any ideas you have down below and let me know how you liked it. Thumbs up, thumbs down. Was it good? Was it not? A little bit boring because there wasn't horses in it, I know, but not every video is gonna have the horses, so it's a little disappointing, but that's just kind of, I think, how I like it. So yeah, have a nice night or day or wherever. So bye.